The question is from Thinking Focus.
Hi, this is Rich. We've been doing this podcast now for nearly 10 years. And what I'd like to do here is just reflect on one from 2023. This podcast is around the topic of how do I improve my confidence? A really useful thing is for us to try and understand what is confidence? How do I get it? And what you'll hear discussed in this first bit is a little understanding of what confidence is made of.
There's some brilliant work by a guy called Professor Ian Robertson. I think he's from Trinity in Ireland. He's a brilliant book called How Confidence Works. And he describes confidence in that, and I love this description, as being sort of the combination of two things.
Right.
So can I do it? Belief in self.
Yes.
So kind of internal view of confidence.
Right.
And can it happen? Is it possible? Okay. External view of confidence. And it's these two things coming together that make us confident.
So there, when you listen to that little clip, you understand that confidence is sort of two parts to it, as Paul described. Can I do something? Do I believe I can? But also, can it happen in the world? Can the thing I'm wanting to do or talking about, can it happen? And I need some confidence in both of those two things. But I think that's a really valuable thing to reflect on. It's not just, can I do it? It's also, will the world, will the society, will the organisation, the team, whatever that is, will it be able to happen in that environment?
And I always think this, just to this day, when I do big keynote type stuff, my confidence at the end of it is relatively high.
Okay.
But I'm being really honest, I am always cacking myself at the start. And so I do have to at some point go, you've done this loads of times, you've done it before, you know what you're talking about.
Sure.
But also as a backup, I've really rehearsed the first 2 minutes.
Of course, yeah.
Because then I'm in the flow and I'm fine.
Yeah.
And so for that bit, I think, in the first 2 minutes, can I remember to stand up straight? Can I remember to look at the audience? Can I put my shoulders back a little bit? That all makes a big difference. But standing there like, 1950 Superman just makes me look like an idiot.
When I listen back to this, I thought really interesting stuff there. As someone that speaks in public a lot, I don't get as nervous as I used to do, but I still do get nervous. And there's a couple of interesting things that I've learned over the years that help with that. You can try and prepare for every eventuality. Now, I'm sort of talking about public speaking here, but this could be anything. This is about anything, having confidence in anything that you're doing. You can try and prepare for every single eventuality, maybe rehearse loads and loads and loads and loads and loads, trying to cover it all, which actually is good because rehearsal is always good, but it's always slightly different when you do something. So you can go to the nth degree and try and cover all bases. What Paul said there I thought was really interesting. He talked about he prepared just for the first 2 minutes, or he let me get that better actually. He said he rehearsed the first 2 minutes a lot because once he'd got going, his confidence came. And I think that is really quite interesting because what's happening there is as his nerves calm, the emotional side of his brain calms, the more human, rational side of his brain kicks in, and his ability to deliver whatever he's delivering really comes to the fore. And I think that's a really good thing to think back on and to think about. Doesn't matter whether it's giving a talk, whether it's running a meeting, whether it's running a client interview, conversation, whatever, whether it's preparing for your amateur dramatic society. It doesn't matter what it is. You can't cover every single base, but you can get going. You can start. And once you make a start, and once you get into your flow, your brain will kick in. Your human, rational brain will kick in and will help you. One of the other things that's been interesting for me on this topic has been, before I do something that I might perceive to be big or important, is to expect a little wobble, is to expect a little confidence wobble. Don't treat it as a surprise that it comes, but to expect it, to thank it, and to welcome it. So when you do have a little confidence wobble, when that voice of self-doubt appears in your head that says, I'm not sure I can do this, I'm not sure I'm prepared enough, I'm not sure I'm ready, that is really good because it shows you want to do well. But what I don't have to do is I don't have to engage it in worrying. What I can do is thank it for showing up, accept that it's trying to help me, and then to speak back to it to say, you know what, thanks for coming. I knew you'd show up. I knew that little voice had come just before I begin. But you know what? I've got a plan. I'm prepared. I'm as ready as I can be. And I've done this before. So I'm going to be okay. Now, why is it important to plan for the wobble to come? It's important to plan because if you don't plan and the wobble shows up, you may stay in that emotional state and that wobble will remain with you then. However, if you plan for it to show up, once you spot it, whether that's the butterflies in your stomach or whatever it might be, you can then move into, okay, the wobble showed up. Great, but I'm ready for it. I've got a plan. I'm going to get into my plan. Thanks for coming. I'm going to be okay. I've done it before. I'm going to be fine. So I just thought that might be useful, building on the things that were said in that podcast when I listened back to it, which I thought were really, really interesting. But I thought for us to if you're anything like me, I do have those moments of self-doubt. But if I can plan for them, I'm able to deal with them much more helpfully. So if you want to go back and listen to this one, it is podcast 112. It's from August 2023, and it's called How Do I Improve My Confidence?
Next time on The Question Is.
Yeah, so the idea then is to try and turn the conversation more towards value in some shape or form, understanding what the customer's outcomes are, what their goals are. What else are we needing to consider here then, Ricky?
To find out how Thinking Focus can unlock the potential within your organisation, go to www.thinkingfocus.com, where you'll discover more about the work we do, helping our clients increase productivity and enable change.